Absolutely. And you're talking about, that China has really dominated the solar industry. And obviously President Biden has made this, a point of emphasis that he wants to move away from that reliance on China. You mentioned the Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, is the Inflation Reduction Act doing enough? Is that bill enough to get us to where we need to be in terms of independence from China on solar?
I think the architecture of that bill probably couldn't have been done much better. And the reason I say that is because it gave something to everyone. Where we've been challenged or disconnected in the past is certain policies have been put in place, whether it's a trade policy that is misaligned with a manufacturer that could be counter to the objective of a developer or a utility or to an independent power producer. And so that misalignment has generally resulted in some effort to undermine whatever policy was being put in place. What we have with IRA is that it's really a whole of industry approach, that there's a little bit for everyone. And not just today, as you think about today's form of generation or today's technology or the evolution of where we're going around the world of electrification. And on the front end of the world of electrification, you need somebody who can take photons and make electrons. And we think we do that better than everyone else. But the enablement now through IRA as it relates to the world of electrification with EVs and with hydrogen and so on, now you've got this really unique opportunity for us as an industry that everyone has an opportunity. Everyone will benefit from what has been put in place with the IRA if we stay true to its intent. So I'm very excited about how it was originally architected. Where I'm a little concerned is that will it stay true to the spirit of what was envisioned? And I think at times we can wander. And for example, there's as part of IRA, there's the extension of the investment tax credit and the production tax credit. And actually solar now will benefit from the production tax credit, which is actually an incremental value add. It also extends before the ITC for solar was going to step down to 26%. Now it goes back to 30% and it actually creates a very long runway through the end of this decade. Now there's actually, on top of that, an opportunity for a bonus. And I think we should just step back and reflect on that word. It's a bonus. It's not an entitlement. And the bonus is there for domestic content because as we think through the horizon of IRA, the strategic intent is we need domestic supply chain that can enable that long-term energy independence, security, and climate change goals. If the bonus is only in the very last step of the production process for crystalline silicon, because crystalline silicon is a very complicated production process. It first starts with the production of polysilicon, and then it's ingot and wafer, then there's cells, and then there's final module assembly. If the domestic content value is carried across that entire value chain, then you get to a point where there's an enablement of a domestic supply chain that's enduring. If we just put the domestic content bonus, and again, I'll keep going back to the word bonus, it's not an entitlement, it's a bonus. It's there to enable strategic intent of an industry, right, and its self-sustaining capabilities. If the bonus is only on manufacturing a module assembly, the very last step of the production process, we destroyed the entire front end of the value chain. And it's so simple to put module assembly into the US and to back away from it. So there's a company here in Arizona that made an announcement for a facility that would do about 2 gigawatts, a Chinese company, 2 gigawatts of module assembly. Well, they've chosen to enter into a lease of an existing facility. They haven't even made a capital investment, and they've largely imported the equipment and the tools from China. And so that's very easy to unwind. So they could be looking at this, we'll play this game, we'll ride the course of IRA, get the domestic content bonus, be here for 10 years, IRA goes away, they walk away from their lease, they basically scrap the tools, and they move on. And then we've destroyed the opportunity of what we set out strategically to try to accomplish. So that's where I get a little concerned. I think it's well intended. I'm really worried about how it ultimately gets interpreted and finally implemented.